Well, we're finally here. This weekend is the Olivier Awards 2025, and it's time to predict. Today, I'm going to walk you through who I want to see and who I think will be winning Olivier Awards this weekend. In previous years, I've honestly felt more confident when putting forward some suggestions of who could win. This year, I'm kind of on the fence between like 2 or 3 people in every category. But nonetheless, I've made some decisions. Let's predict, and then on Sunday, we can see how wrong I am. But if you haven't seen my face before, hi, I'm Ellie. I talk about theatre. I am the most chaotic theatre person on the internet. I do reviews, I do discussions, I do versus brackets and rankings, and if any of that sounds interesting to you, please consider hitting like and subscribe. It really helps me, it helps out the channel. But let's dive in to my predictions. So we're going to go in order of the categories as they were announced at the nominations. I've done them all on cards here, so I have like a graphic to show you, and also I thought that was fun. And as I said, I've chosen the show I want to win in each category and the show that I think will win. Sometimes these are the same show, but let's find out. Let's start with Best Set Design. I want Spirited Away to win, and I think Spirited Away will win. I think it's interesting to think about how Spirited Away has been seen in this year's nominations. It's definitely done well, but if we're comparing it to the last Studio Ghibli adaptation, it hasn't done as well as that. Still, if I think they're going to win anything at this year's awards, I think set design is what they're going to go for, because set design also encapsulates the puppetry that they have in that show, which is fantastic. I can see an argument for them winning costume instead, but I still think the set design is quite strong. It does have some strong competitors in that category. Obviously, Coriolanus is up for it, Fiddler on the Roof is up for it, and it's hard to speak about Fiddler on the Roof because we know it's going to win a lot, but we don't know how much exactly it's going to win. And Fiddler's set design is very cool, but I do think the expansive nature of the Spirited Away set, the way that they transformed like the proscenium of the Colosseum as well, with that like grass texture going all the way around, the actual bathhouse and all the puppetry and everything, I think that was phenomenal. I would like to see that win, and I do think that's the category where Spirited Away will win this year. Lighting design, I want Fiddler on the Roof to win, and I think Fiddler on the Roof will win. Now, this is the first time I'm going to be speaking really about Fiddler in this video, so let's address it. Fiddler's going to do very well at the Oliviers, and I think that it obviously deserved. If you can get 13 nominations at the Olivier Awards, if you can be the joint most nominated show in the history, I think you're going to do quite well. And I think it's going to be a lot of these categories where it does pull some extra wins. Fiddler is one of the shows of the season that unfortunately I did miss, but from everything I've heard about it and everything I've researched about it and looking over it, its lighting design was phenomenal. It does have stiff competition in this category. I could see it also going to Oliver potentially. And let's not undermine Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812 or Starlight Express's lighting designs. If I'm going to say a second, I feel like it would be Starlight, because Starlight does have some fantastic lighting, and I'd be very happy with a Starlight win. But I do think this is a category that will go to Fiddler on the Roof. Now, next up is all of the opera, dance productions, family shows, affiliate theatre. I didn't see any of these. There's no point in me predicting them. I can't even give you an educated guess on them. So, you know what? Your guess is as good as mine. So let's move straight on to Best Actor in a Supporting Role. This is the first time where my want differs from what I think will win. Best Actor in a Supporting Role, I would like to see Jorge Bosch win for Kyoto, but I think Elliot Levy will win for Giant. Elliot Levy is someone who is no stranger to the Olivier Awards. I think, like, since Cabaret, has he been nominated every year? It may be the case. I think there might be like one year he wasn't nominated, but he is a darling. He's a very strong actor, and in a play that has been received extremely well. I do think this award is very likely going to go to him, but I would like to see Jorge Bosch take it, which is why I've gone to give him my respect in the supporting actor category, giving him my want. I think the way he takes that role in Kyoto is fantastic. He comes off at the start of that play as someone who's a little bit goofy. He comes off very unserious, and slowly but surely he builds and builds character. He provides some really interesting commentary, especially playing against these big players. And eventually he's the one who gets the crowning glory. He's the one who pulls everything together. It's such a beautiful character arc that's really well portrayed by Jorge, who manages to bring you into this character from the very first second you meet him, so that when he eventually has that rise, you're rooting for him all the way. A fantastic supporting performance that I would like to see recognised, especially because Kyoto, unfortunately, didn't get the nominations that I was hoping it would this year. I also don't know whether I should hold these the entire time or not. I guess I'll feel it out. Best Actress in a Supporting Role in a Musical, well, seeing as half of this category is the same person, I feel like it's very fitting that my choices are the same person. Now, I'm going to make a weird choice here. Now, you can see I haven't written down a show for Romola Gari in my prediction, but I think that she is going to win, and if I'm going to say it, I do think this is the same. I do think that Romola Gari will win for the years. Honestly, I will say it again. I said it in one of my previous Olivier videos this year that I wish the full cast of the years was nominated together because they were all so fantastic. But I have to admit, Romola Gari's moment in that show completely stands out. Her performance of that moment in the years is so tragic. It's heartbreaking. She brings you through every single ounce of pain in that moment. It feels so truthful, so honest, so raw. I want her to win for that. And honestly, I do think she will win for the years. Hi, it's Ellie from the editing room, because I just had a thought that if Romola Gari is nominated twice, that could mean that her vote becomes split. So there is a possibility that, you know, that happens and she doesn't get the win here, which would be a shame. But if that does happen, my money is on Sharon D. Clarke. Best Theatre Choreographer. I honestly can't believe the way I've gone for this, because if you had asked me like before the nominations came out, I would have said this is a slam dunk for the one I want to win. I want Christopher Wheeldon to win for MJ, but I think Julia Cheng will win for Fiddler on the Roof. This is a tough category. Let's be perfectly true and honest here. You've got Matthew Bourne, who is one of, if not the most awarded person at the Olivier Awards. He's won 6 Oliviers, been nominated countless times, and he does fantastic work in Oliver. And then there's Hofes Schechter. I didn't manage to catch Old Vicopus, but that version of Oedipus at the Old Vic was extremely dance heavy and definitely deserving of a nomination here. But I do think this is a battle between MJ and Fiddler, and knowing how much they have loved Fiddler this year, I do think it's going to win out. If MJ's going to win any category this year, though, it is this one. I think this is the one they're most likely to get. The choreography is outstanding in MJ. No matter your opinions on the show, which I have shared, I do think that choreography is just top-notch. Growing and growing throughout the show, the blast of energy that is Beat It is fantastic. You build up throughout that show into Thriller. It's phenomenal work. But Fiddler on the Roof also has so many dynamic moments of choreography in there. I mean, you can't have Fiddler on the Roof without the bottle dance, and, like, come on. And in a year where I do think Fiddler's going to be having the biggest sweep, I think that this one will eventually go to Fiddler. But with that said, I would love to see it go to MJ. Costume design, I struggled with. I really struggled with this one because I could see it going many different ways. But if you're asking me, I want Starlight Express to win, and I think Starlight Express will win. It's an interesting category, right? Because we have Fiddler on the Roof, which has really cool costume design, but it's very, like, muted. It's not exactly the type of show that I would have expected to get a nod in costume design this year. We have Robin Hood, the pantomime, big, flashy, campy costumes that I could definitely see gaining a win potentially. You have Spirited Away, which is very, very cool in the costumes they have, but I do think its biggest spectacle is its set design and its puppetry, and I don't personally see it getting the win here. I would love to see it get the win, and gain the award here, but I think they're more likely to win for set than they are for costumes, which leaves Starlight Express. There's costume design in Starlight Express, especially for people who are massive fans of the original, like many elements of that production, have been seen as quite controversial. People say they don't look like trains, but I will retort to that saying, neither did the original. And I quite like the, well, for lack of a better word, sixification of the Starlight Express costumes, which makes sense because it's Gabriella Slade doing the costumes for it. I love these designs. I love the paneling. I love the texture, the detail. It really pops on stage and they feel like toys. That's the thing. And I think everyone looks really interesting and unique and really vibrant on stage. I love the choices of lighting on the costumes as well, the LEDs in places to give them this certain glow. While I do think this will be a win for Starlight Express, it's not the category I'm like the most confident on, but yeah, I do think it will win. Sound design. I want the Years to win. I think Fiddler on the Roof will win. I mean, first of all, let's just admit, Regent's Park Open Air Theatre, difficult venue to do sound design in. And yet again, I do think Fiddler on the Roof is going to do extremely well at the Olivier Awards this year. I have to kind of think about it in different categories and be like, okay, I think this is one where they're going to get it. I think this is one where they're going to get it. And I do think they will eventually pick up sound design, but I would love to see the Years get a win here. The sound design in that show was beautiful. I'm not massively confident on this one, honestly, but I do feel like Fiddler will probably pick it up. Oh, this is a category where I've tossed and turned because there's two musicals that I want to win this, and then there's the one I think will win, which equals 3 different shows. And I feel like I'm betraying a show by saying this, but outstanding contributions, I could either go for Want, Great Comet, or Benjamin Button. I've gone for Great Comet, but I do think Fiddler will win. I think it's weird to think about this category because it used to be known as orchestrations, and I think that definitely swayed different things. And if I'm thinking about it like that, if I'm thinking about the contribution to the genre, to music, to orchestrations, to the craft of that, I do think the most put together show this year is Great Comet. I think the score to Comet is flawless. I think the orchestrations are gorgeous. I think the music is just absolutely stunning and deserving of this award. If I think that it's going to pick up anything this year, I do think this is the category where it could get it. So why have I not said that it's going to win? Well, Fiddler, I think it's going to sweep. And as I look overall, when I'm thinking about these nominations and looking how many I think Fiddler's going to get and trying to do that math in my head, I can't say that I don't think it's going to win this category. And yes, this does mean I have to leave off my baby Benjamin Button, which does have fantastic orchestrations and a phenomenal actor-musician cast who definitely deserve to be awarded. I wish I could write one of their names on here, but I would say that I want Great Comet to win, and I think Fiddler will win. I'm very happy to be proven wrong, though. I'm very happy to be proven wrong. This is the thing. With a lot of these awards this year, I've just been going back and forth, and I'm not sure, and I'm kind of letting my doubts about Fiddler overshine some certain things. I don't know if I'm picking the right categories for Fiddler. I feel like I'm going to get so many wrong here just because I've picked certain shows that I loved more on certain awards that they'll pick up, and then the ones where I'm like, oh, this category could go even anyway, let's throw it to Fiddler. That's the ones where other shows will actually win. Like this category. Now, honestly, with Best Actress in a Supporting Role, you could swap these two around and I would still agree. Best Actress in a Supporting Role of the Musical, I want to see mwmheps win for Great Comet, but I think Liv Androusier will win for Fiddler on the Roof. Again, swap these around and I would agree. I want Liv to win her Olivier so badly. She has gone from strength to strength, to performance. She is a phenomenal actress. If you saw her in Ride, you understand exactly what she can do. She can carry a show and is absolutely deserving of an Olivier. Swap these around, I'd agree. And mwmheps is one of the most stunning performances of the year. She is exactly what you want out of a supporting performance. Just so raw, so emotional. Her performance of Sonia alone will not leave my mind. fantastic work. I could see this going either way between them, but honestly, that's forgetting Amy DiBartolomeo, who absolutely shines in The Devil Wears Prada. I'm not sure she will win this year, but I'm really glad that she's been nominated. A very deserving nomination. And of course, there's Beverly Cline, who is the other nomination for Fiddler who could equally win this year. I think a lot of these acting categories, I don't know. I'm so conflicted on these that it's hard for me to even write down predictions, but I'm going with what I've written down now and I'm not changing it. Best Actor in a Supporting Role of a Musical. I want to be careful how I phrase this because these are all fantastic performances that I'm really glad to see nominated. I'm so happy that Leighton Williams has finally got an Olivier nomination. I'm so happy that Tom Zander's got an Olivier nomination. Andy Nyman, completely deserving. Raphael Papo, definitely. All of these are phenomenal performances, but none of them feel like the winning performance. Like, there's definitely other categories here where I'm like, oh yeah, that's the clear winner. And then Best Leading Actor in a Musical has like 3 that I'm like, yeah, that's the one that wins this year. And that's why that category's so hard. But this, it's interesting. And like, I can see different arguments for each way. I've gone with this. I want Leighton Williams to win. I think Andy Nyman will win. While Dolly hasn't got loads of love at this year's awards, I do think that all of the categories it's been nominated in are exactly correct. And I think they're going to do very well at these acting categories. And honestly, I do want Andy Nyman to win. He gives a fantastic performance in Hello, Dolly. Out of all of these actors, he is the supporting actor in that show that feels the most likely to win to me. But at the same time, Leighton Williams. Leighton Williams absolutely kills it in Titanic. And he's an actor who I feel like has been deserving of an Olivier for a long time now. But just, you know, categories have never quite lined up for him. He's done a lot of takeover roles so far, or UK tours where he hasn't been eligible. He's a fantastic performer that definitely deserves this nomination. And I would love to see take the win. Do I think he's going to take the win? Maybe not. But if that happens on Sunday, you know I'm going to be cheering. Best Entertainment or Comedy Play. There's like, I'm going to be so happy whoever wins this one. Because I've heard nothing but good things about Ballet Shoes. Spirited Away was fantastic. Titanic, hilarious. I've gone with this. And I've only really gone with this so I can speak about 2 different shows here. But Best Entertainment, I would like to see Titanic win, but I think Ballet Shoes will win. The hype for Ballet Shoes has been really interesting to watch, and I'm really glad that it's been nominated in this category because I think it's more likely to win here than it would have done in Best New Play. A really beautiful adaptation, but at the same time, Titanic, it's straight up my alley. It's queer, it's fruity, it's dumb, it's silly, it's chaos, and you know I am the most chaotic there's person on the internet. How am I not going to be rooting for the chaos show? Will Titanic win? Probably not. Let's be honest. I'm really glad that it kind of broke through on the Olivier's because I didn't really think it would massively do amazingly well. I think it's one of those shows where the nominations are the win for it. Like, I'm really glad to see it get these nominations and get the respect that it deserves, especially for a show where big, flashy award shows don't really feel like the type that are set up to celebrate this type of theatre. I could equally put down Spirited Away. I loved that production. I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was a well-made entertainment piece, definitely worthy of a win, and if it does win as well, I'm going to be very happy. The only one I haven't really spoken about here is Inside Number 9. It's definitely a surprise that it's nominated here. It didn't have the best critical reception, but has done extremely well and has definitely pleased fans of that original piece. I think out of all of these shows, though, it's the one that doesn't need the win. It's already sold out its entire season. It doesn't really have anything more it needs to prove, you know? If you can't tell, this was recorded before they announced the tour. It's going on tour. Whoops. Whereas Titanic wants to kind of become a long runner, Ballet Shoes has a return lined up, Spirited Away, while it's already done and finished its season, this would be a nice cap off for it, and could take this production to further steps. Which is why I've kind of picked Titanic and Ballet Shoes for this. I think they're the 2 that have the most to gain from this win. Best Director. Whew, okay. I messed up. Okay. I would like to see Aline Arbo win for The Years. I think Robert Icke is going to win for Oedipus. and this is specifically Wyndham's Oedipus, not Old Vicipus. Old Vicipus is not nominated here. Is it weird that I haven't put Fiddler on the Roof down here? Fiddler on the Roof could definitely win, and honestly, Giant could definitely win as well. I think this is probably one of the closest categories where I feel like I could see an argument for every show winning. There's not even one I've put below another. Like, these are very on par with each other, but I will stand by that I would like to see the years win this category. First of all, for systemic reasons, because it's very rare, and sadly rare, that we see women nominated for Best Director. We've had so many years in the past, but this is just a category that is consistently and overwhelmingly dominated by men. And Arbo's direction in the years is certainly worthy of this win. The rawness of that play and the openness to these discussions and the exploration of this woman's story is so phenomenally tackled by Arbo's direction. Definitely worthy of a win here, but I do think it's going to go to Robert Icke. This version of Oedipus has been extremely successful. That is very much headed up by Icke. Honestly, it's quite interesting to compare these two because these are both productions that are adapting a piece, and the director is very much like the central behind them, working on the writing and the creation of the piece alongside the actual direction. Two creatives who are properly heading up these pieces of work, which is why I quite like the synergy of picking these two. But if you push me on it, twist my arm and ask me what I think will win, I do think it's going to go to Oedipus. Best Actress. I'm just doing this because I like the synergy of it. Best Actress, I wanted Dima Palmer to win, and I think Leslie Manville will win. Now, if you don't get it, this is Old Vicipus, and this is Wyndham's Opus, and yeah, it's the two Jocastas. I couldn't pick anything else because this was too funny to me. Okay, I think in the battle of the Jocastas, I do think Leslie Manville will win. I think out of all of these actresses nominated, there's some tough competition here. Mackinac could get it. Shift is a show that I'm really glad got some love, and honestly would love to see it pick up the win here. I think it's more likely to get this win than it is to get Best New Play, personally. But I do think the Jocastas are where I'm going to put my money. And which Jocasta I'm more likely to go for? I think Leslie Manville's. I think critically, that production has been better received, but that's not to undersell Indira Varma's performance, which is seen as one of the strongest elements of Old Vicipus. Tough, but I'm doing this because I like the vibe of that. Best Actor. Now, this is probably one of the ones that I could switch out. I could switch out my want. I did almost write Mark Strong in for my want for Oedipus, and maybe that would have been the best decision. But I've gone with Giant winning this, and I do want Giant to win. Now, does this want come with the fact that it may sway who I'm choosing for Best New Play? Maybe, potentially, who's to say? Because sometimes we've got to think about the overall picture as well. And I think I'm going to be massively surprised if Lithgow doesn't pick up the award this year. His performance deals with Roald Dahl and his controversial opinions and the underlying bigotry behind those as well. It's a very interesting portrayal. But again, this is a very tough category. Adrian Brody definitely is deserving of this award, and it would be very cool to see him win after he just won at the Oscars this year. And if he does win here, let's hope his speech is a little bit shorter. Mark Strong is a strong contender as well. There's a lot of really strong names here, but I would go with Lithgow winning out. Right, Best Revival. I kind of want Ernest to win. Do I think it's going to win? No, Oedipus is winning this, hands down, 1,000,000%. There's no universe where it doesn't. Look, I love a campy, silly version of old Oscar Wilde play, and you know what? That version at the National breathed new life into it. I kind of wanted to give it a chance, give it a shot, give it a moment to speak about it, because I think it's very cool. But I think hands down Oedipus is going to win. I think that version by Robert Icke is just very clearly the winner in this case. I think the two revival categories this year are the easiest to predict. I do think Oedipus is winning this hands down. Like, no argument here. Musical revival, even easier. There's no way Fiddler's not going to win. Like, how could Fiddler not win? Like, there's not even like a tiny little whittle gap that you could maybe put some benefit of the doubt in. Like, it literally goes 13 nominations for Fiddler, and then the next most nominated is Oliver with 4. Like, that is a jump and a half. I think the writing is on the wall here. There is no universe where Fiddler does not win. If it doesn't win, I will eat this card. I'll do it. I will eat this card. I'll do it live on camera. I will eat this card. This card right. I'm keeping this card. I will eat it if Fiddler does not win. You can hold me accountable on that. Best actor in a musical. This is the hardest category. I'm going to say it right now. This is the hardest category of the night. This category has like 3 Olivier Award-winning performances. Like, it should be a joint win between like 3 of these actors, in my personal opinion. I've made choices. It's left off one actor who I think is very likely to win as well, but in my opinion, I want John Dalglish to win for Benjamin Button. I think Simon Lipkin will win for Oliver, but I also think it's very likely that Adam Danheiser could take this. Because if you notice with my predictions, the acting categories, I've not really lent towards Fiddler, where they are, like, they're outnumbering people. Obviously, we haven't yet spoken about Best Actress, but I do think there is somebody else in that category who is more likely to take that win over Laura Pulver. But Danheiser is one of those actors who is very likely to take it. And I will not be surprised if his name is called, but I want to give credit to Lipkin and Dalglish here. John Dalglish is who I want to win. When I'm looking at all these performances of the year, John Dalglish plays Benjamin Button to perfection. The humanity behind that performance is outstanding. The skill that goes into creating that role of this man aging backwards, the slow aging process. You can see the change in Benjamin Button, in voice, in stature, in opinions, and even like thoughts behind the eyes through the eras that he lives through. You can see him quickening up and getting stronger and better. And Dalglish does a phenomenal job at portraying that through Benjamin Button. But Simon Lipkin is someone who has been deserving of an Olivier Award for a very, very long time. He is a phenomenal performer, and Fagin is one of his best performances. And I do think this role as Fagin is one that is very likely to give him the award. If Oliver is going to pick up anything on the night, I think it's this. I honestly just think it's sad that they should have pushed him as featured. I don't know. I know it's a stretch because, yeah, he is and he gets the main bow, but they should have pushed him as featured because then it would be easier for me to talk about because he's up against some titans here. This is a category that I could go many different ways because Danheiser's Tevye is obviously one that could pick up the award. And even the 2 performances I haven't mentioned, Miles Frost's MJ is an extremely impressive performance. And Jay Moscato. Yes, I do think Moscato is in the wrong category here, but we were putting that fact aside. My God, his performance is great. Anatole gives what it needs to give. But after considering for way too much time, I do think it's going to go to Simon Lipkin. Best Actress. There's so many wonderful actresses nominated in this category. I have gone for the same want as the one that I think will win. I think this is Imelda Staunton's category to lose. Her Dolly is beyond anything I've seen this year. Her Dolly is so layered, so interesting, so phenomenal. Her performance was just outstanding. Definitely one of the strongest performances of the year. I've said from the get-go that this is her award this year, and I do think she's going to get it. That's not to say she doesn't have stiff competition. Claire Foster is phenomenal in Benjamin Button. Laura Pulver as well. I do think Lauren Drew and Shamisa Dawnford-May are less likely to win this year, but still absolutely titans in those 2 respective shows. And I'm really glad to see them both get a nod here and a nomination, a very deserving nomination in both regards. But I do think that Imelda Staunton's got this. So we come to the big awards of the night. Now, I think Best New Play is a fight between Giant and The Years. I think that's a very easy prediction to make, seeing as they are the 2 most nominated shows when it comes to new plays. And I've made the call thus. I want the years to win, and I think the years will win. This does undermine slightly the real challenge that comes from Giant, but I want the years to win. I honestly need the years to win. That is one of the best pieces of theatre I've seen in a very long time. I honestly would love to see Kyoto win as well. That is another one of my favourite plays that I've seen so far this year. But I recognise the fact that it hasn't been as loved by the panel as I did, which is fair enough. Different taste for different folks. If Fear of 13 is going to win anything, I think it's going to be leading actor. If Shifters is going to win anything, I think it's leading actress. Which leaves Giant and the years. And I'm committing. I'm committing to the years. I think the years will take this. I think Giant will do better in the acting categories and could possibly take director. While I haven't predicted that, I could see that happening. I won't be surprised if Giant wins this category, but I do want to see the years take this one personally. Finally, Best New Musical. I will say I'm not overly confident on this decision, because just like New Play I feel is between the years and Giant, I think Best Musical is between Comet and Benjamin Button. And I don't know which way it's going to go on the night, and I will be happy with either one winning. I have gone, though, with the same one I want as I think will win. I will say I'm not overly confident, and I will not be surprised if the other takes it in this instance. But I have to fight for my love. I have to put my eggs in one basket here and say I'm rooting for Benjamin Button. The thing that pushed me on this is that I feel like Benjamin Button has a better overall picture than Comet did. I will stand on a rooftop and shout and declare my love for The Great Comet of 1812, but that production was not as strong as a whole. I definitely had my few criticisms there. That was a 4-star show to me, and Benjamin Button is a 5-star show. I'll be very happy with a win for Comet, because yes, it will mean that every show that won at the Tony Awards in 2017 will have won over here. And honestly, Great Comet was so overlooked that season at the Tony Awards. It feels like cosmic justice for it to win more over here. I want Comet to win something. I think that you can kind of tell that through some of my wants, but I want them to win supporting actress, and I want them to win orchestrations. I think when it comes to the best musical of the season, that to me is described by Benjamin Button. Benjamin Button is just a beautiful piece of theatre. So well created, so complex, so well thought out. A show that has been building itself up slowly but surely through the years. What's going against it, though, as well, is when we look at two things. Number one, it's not the most nominated show of the season. The last time we saw this happen, where the show that won Best New Musical was not the most nominated show of the season when it comes to new musicals, was Dear Evan Hansen in 2020. So it's been a good 4 years. And the other thing, if we're looking at past Olivier Awards, is the fact that we've only had British musicals win the past couple of years. And Benjamin Button has a very similar story to Operation Mincemeat last year. Are they too similar that they will go for Comet instead? I don't know. You may say I'm overthinking this, and maybe I am. Maybe I'm being pedantic about it, but these are the things I'm thinking about of why they may give it to Comet over Benjamin Button. But I'm going to go with my gut, and I'm going to go with what I personally feel is stronger in this case, which is Benjamin Button. But I will not be upset. I will not be upset if Comet wins. But I'm also thinking about it from the case of I want Benjamin Button to succeed, and I feel like an Olivier Award win, especially in Best New Musical, is the thing that it kind of needs at this point to keep itself going, to push for a longer life in London, to really prove itself and give more audiences that little glimpse and that little reassurance of, yes, this is a fantastic piece of theatre that you need to go and see. I think a lot of people hear Curious Case of Benjamin Button and go, oh, I know the film and it wasn't that good, and it's completely different. It's nothing like that film. I think a win like this could do it some real justice. Whereas I think Comet has other awards it could win equally and still manage to claim a new life for itself. But I am going to go with this. Those are my predictions for the Olivier Awards this year. I'm not overly confident on them, honestly. I feel like this is a year where there's just so many points. There's so many awards where it could go many different ways. We cannot ignore the overall presence, the looming presence of Fiddler over this award ceremony. But with that said, there's so many other shows this year that have been equally as strong, that each have their own awards that I feel like they could snatch. It's going to be a very interesting ceremony. I think it's going to be a very surprising ceremony. And we're just going to have to wait and see how wrong I was. So who are you rooting for at this year's Oliviers? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below. And I have loads more Olivier Awards content that I've made. If you are feeling lost in some of the shows this year, you can check out my survival guide. And after the awards, I will be making a video about who won and the biggest surprises of the night. So stay tuned for that. If you did enjoy this video, please consider hitting like and subscribe. It really helps me, it helps out the channel. Here's some links to some other videos on screen right now and a link to my Instagram if you'd like to drop me a follow over there. I also have other social links and a merch store in the description down below. But that's it for me today, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!